Hello everyone, happy Tuesday. Hopefully you can hear this. If you couldn't tell, I am at the beach. I don't think I can turn it around, but I'll give you a nice view of the beach. It's not that warm. It's probably almost 70 here right now in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. But I just wanted to make a quick video, something that I have been praying about, and I've mentioned it in my videos before, and that is the idea or the concept of communion in the hand versus communion on the tongue, they call it, or traditionally speaking, when you kneel down and let the priest put the Eucharist in your mouth for you instead of you touching it with your hands. Now the church teaches either one at the Novus Ordo parishes, or the church allows either one, I should say. At the Novus Order parishes, it's more common to receive the Eucharist in the hand after bowing, where at the traditional masses that's not allowed and you have to kneel and receive it on the tongue. And I have taken the stance of, until the Lord convicts me to do otherwise, I was going to just receive communion in the hand, because I felt like receiving communion on the tongue, where most people normally receive it on the hand, is disruptive. In my parish, because of COVID right now, if you want to receive on the tongue, you can only receive from the priest. So he always stands in one area, and then the Eucharistic ministers stand usually where I'm at, where I sit in Mass. So I would have to walk all the way to the back of the church, and I thought maybe this would be offensive to the Eucharistic ministers, and so has been like a whole thought process. I've been praying about it, and then my daughter, she's making her first Holy Communion this year, this May, so congratulations to her. But they are teaching communion kneeling on the tongue. So it's like very odd, because I'm like, here we are in Novus Ordo Parish where everybody receives pretty much on the hands. There's a couple old timers that will receive on the tongue. And so that kind of sparked something in me, like, okay, like I had been praying about it before I did this, or before I saw that, and I'm like, Lord, like, I don't know, like, I just don't want to offend you. I don't want to seem like a holier than thou. Like, it's already bad enough that I'm one of the only ones that wear a veil, so I'm gonna stick out like a sore thumb. I don't want to offend anyone. I don't want to seem, like a Pharisee or something like that. But the Lord has really convicted me through a number of instances that I'm probably not gonna mention. But one of them is like he has given me lately this first-hand view, this first-hand front row seat, if you will, to some times where I've watched people receive the Eucharist and it hasn't been as reverent as it should. Now, please don't get this wrong. I think everybody needs to pray about this individually, and I'm not saying that if you receive communion on the hand, there's something wrong with you, but you need to pray and ask the Lord what he prefers, and maybe that's okay with you, like for you, maybe that's fine. For me, he really did convict me that, first of all, I am not worthy to touch his body in the Eucharist with my hands. That's number one. I'm just not. Number two, to make up for the lack of reverence that sometimes goes on in my parish, I need to make reparations. And so as part of making reparations, I have to go through the sometimes embarrassment of getting out of my pew, walking all the way to the back of the church, waiting for everybody else to receive communion, because at that part I'm at the back of the line, in the back of the church, and then kneeling when nobody else kneels. So that's what I did today for the first time. It was a little awkward. I felt like first time I've ever received communion on the tongue. Probably didn't stick out my tongue far enough, and I have a small mouth, so I'm gonna have to work on that. And I totally forgot to say amen before I opened my mouth, so I kind of said it after I had already opened my mouth, and it was kind of awkward, so I'm gonna have to work on that. Luckily they want me to practice with my daughter for her communion with crackers at home. So I think I'm gonna make her pretend to be the priest too, or maybe make my son be the priest, and I'm gonna have to practice myself because this is foreign to me. I also came across in the process of this discernment process, and it has been really just that. I've been discerning this for months and months and months. I came across a video recently of a priest down in South America who had some sort of revelation, some sort of vision maybe, I don't know, while he was doing Mass, and he broke down and started crying. And then he came back and faced the parishioners and said the only way that you will receive communion is kneeling and in the mouth, on the tongue, or whatever he said. And if I could find that video again, I'm going to post the link to that below. But that wasn't, that was touched me and it made a difference. But there's just been many convictions that the Lord has sent my way, including my own private revelation sitting in front of the Blessed Sacrament. And even sitting in the Adoration Chapel where I could distinctly feel and kind of have a knowing of my guardian angel in there with me, telling me I should not be sitting, I should be kneeling. So even in adoration, this has become a habit for me of always kneeling before the Blessed Sacrament, never sitting. Again, I'm not saying you're doing something wrong. We all have our own personal journeys to walk here, and maybe for you, communion in the hand is okay. Maybe you're not in the same parish on that. You're not required to make reparations or whatever. Please don't misunderstand me. It is allowed by the bishops. Communion in the hand is allowed. So, and I feel like a lot of times among the traditionalists, the communion on the tongue becomes some sort of like idol almost, where they're only going to receive it, kneeling and on the tongue, and they're very adamant about it, and the love of Jesus in the Eucharist gets lost. So when we're making these decisions, we have to put the love of Jesus first and foremost. The love of Jesus and reverence for him first and foremost. So pray for me, y'all, because this isn't something that I've taken lightly. And the decision to now receive communion only like this is not convenient. It's not business as usual for me. It's going to take some adjustment. So that is all I wanted to say. I hope y'all have a great Tuesday, and I will sit here and enjoy my view. Actually, I'm about to walk. I've kind of taken the day off to have sort of a contemplative day, I think. So, Joan of Arc, media out.